A TikTok video is making rounds that claim Todd Chrisley isn't enjoying prison life the same way his wife is for one big reason: it is too dirty for him. What other tea did this TikTok video spill? And, is there any truth to the video? Keep reading for all the juicy details. Prison life too dirty for Todd Chrisley? A TikTok video is making rounds on both Facebook and Reddit featuring an influencer that regularly covers reality TV news. As fans who listen to Savannah's podcast know, she's expressed that both of her parents are faring just fine considering. Likewise, as TV show's Ace previously reported, she also detailed all of the things her mother has been able to enjoy despite being behind bars. With so much emphasis being put on her mother, fans naturally wondered, what about Todd? Chrisley Knows Best fans can only assume that if her father Todd was struggling, this isn't something Savannah would want to share in great detail because it would give the trolls and critics fuel to run with. Now, the TikTok video making rounds featuring an influencer claiming they had a source reveal that Todd Chrisley is having a hard time adjusting to prison life. Turns out, the reality TV star has been excessively complaining about how dirty the prison is. The influencer in the video goes on to claim that a combination of how much complaining he has done and how uncooperative he has been with the staff has resulted in the potential of him being transferred to another facility just a few weeks into his 12-year stint. Is there any truth to this video? Now, it is worth mentioning that Savannah Chrisley did just report both of her parents were doing fine behind bars. Likewise, the social media influencer making these claims did not reveal his source. In fact, individuals in the comments claimed he is known to twist the truth to make for a more interesting story. Other fans admit they just find him annoying and can't stomach watching his videos. Despite the suspicious origin of this claim, other fans agree that Todd Chrisley having a problem with the prison being too dirty sounds exactly like something Todd Chrisley would have an issue with. They, however, don't think Todd complaining or being difficult would result in a prison transfer. So, this claim is definitely something that should be taken with a grain of salt. There is also the possibility that the first part, complaining about it being dirty, is true. But, the part about him getting transferred is not true. Share your thoughts on this information in the comments. And, keep coming back for more Chrisley Knows Best news. The sharp clang of the prison door echoed through the narrow hallway as Todd Chrisley shuffled back to his cell, the fluorescent lights overhead flickering ominously. His normally immaculate appearance, designer suits, styled hair, and polished demeanor, had faded into a memory. Here, in the sterile, unforgiving world of federal prison, appearances meant little. And for the once proud patriarch of Chrisley Knows Best, life behind bars was a harsh, unrelenting reality far removed from the gilded life he had known. For Todd, cleanliness and order had always been paramount. He had built a brand around the image of Southern charm and affluence, and the show's success relied heavily on his persona of absolute control. But prison? This was the antithesis of everything he valued. Dirt. Disorder. Filth. And, worst of all, a loss of control. Since his conviction on tax evasion and fraud charges, Todd had tried to maintain a semblance of composure. He'd held on to hope, clinging to the idea that somehow, through legal appeals or some miracle, he would not have to serve his full sentence. But as the months dragged on, the wake-up call. Todd had imagined prison to be rough, but manageable. Surely, there were people who could maintain some semblance of personal space and cleanliness, right? But his first few weeks quickly crushed any illusions he had. The communal showers, shared toilets, the grimy walls that hadn't seen a proper cleaning in years, everywhere he looked, filth. He tried his best to adapt, to rise above it. He even spent hours each day scrubbing his cell with whatever cleaning supplies he could get his hands on, but it was a losing battle. At first, the other inmates viewed Todd with a mix of curiosity and amusement. The flamboyant reality star, known for his extravagant lifestyle, was now scrubbing floors and scrubbing the sink like it was the set of his reality show. But the novelty quickly wore off, and the more Todd attempted to bring order to the chaos, the more he became a target. His obsession with cleanliness, his inability to handle the mess around him, became a running joke. "Hey, Chrisley. Miss a spot?" one inmate sneered, pointing to a corner of the cell that was perpetually dirty no matter how hard Todd tried to clean it. Todd clenched his jaw, his knuckles white as he gripped the rag in his hand. In the world outside, Todd had wielded power over his family, his employees, even his fans. But here? He was just another prisoner. And no amount of scrubbing or shouting would change that. Isolation and decline. As the months wore on, Todd's mental state began to deteriorate. The sheer inability to control his environment ate away at him. Every stain on his prison uniform, every scuff mark on the walls, every unwashed dish in the communal area felt like a personal attack. He retreated further into himself, refusing to interact with the other inmates except when absolutely necessary. Even his family's visits became strained. Julie, ever the supportive wife, tried to stay positive, offering words of encouragement and updates on their appeals. But Todd couldn't focus. Every time she came to see him, all he could think about was how dirty the visiting room was, how much he wanted to take a shower immediately after their hug. Savannah, his daughter, tried to lift his spirits with stories from the outside world, about how fans were still supporting him and how she was holding down the fort. But Todd couldn't escape the nagging thought of the grimy walls surrounding him. The anxiety of it all was becoming overwhelming. During one particularly difficult visit, Savannah asked him point-blank, "Daddy, are you okay? You're not yourself." Todd looked at her, his once sharp blue eyes dulled by months of stress and sleepless nights. "No, Savannah," he admitted, his voice barely a whisper. "I'm not okay. This place. It's filthy. It's driving me crazy. I can't live like this." It was the first time Todd had openly admitted to how much the dirt and disorder of prison life were affecting him. For someone like Todd, whose image and life had been built around order, control, and appearance, the chaos of prison was more than just an inconvenience, it was a prison within the prison. The breakdown. The breaking point came one evening during a particularly hot summer night. The air in the prison was thick and heavy, the fans doing little to cool the cramped quarters. Todd had spent the entire day obsessively cleaning his small cell, scrubbing until his hands were raw. But no matter what he did, the cell never felt clean enough. The mildew in the corners, the grime in the grout, it was all too much. That night, as Todd lay on his thin mattress, staring at the ceiling, something inside him snapped. He jumped out of bed, grabbed a bucket of water, and began furiously scrubbing the walls.